All right, great. So, welcome everybody to NSBE RPI's third GBM. Today we're going to be talking about mental health, but we'll get into that later. Robert, you go to the next slide. So, as we do for every single GBM, I'm going to need everybody to unmute their mics, and we're going to say the mission statement of the National Society of Black Engineers together. So I'm going to read the cue, and as soon as I get to that part, you guys chime in, right? So the mission statement of the National Society of Black Engineers is
to increase the number of culturally responsible Black engineers who excel academically, professionally, and positively
impact the community.
Community, awesome. Go to the next slide, Robert. So before we start the GBM, I'm happy to announce that we have 2 new e-board members. We have selected our freshman representatives, so congratulate them and also give them the opportunity to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Garcelle. I'm a freshman architecture student from White Plains, New York. I graduated in 2025, and I've been playing the cello for around 9 years. And I also like making digital arts and portraits using Procreate. And I look forward to meeting.
Hey everyone, my name is Christopher Jean-Louis. I'm your second freshman representative. I'm a freshman aeronautical engineering student from Coral Springs, Florida. I graduated in the year 2024, and my fun fact is hilariously destructive. I've only been here for a month and a half, and I'm almost blown up my kitchen twice, and I got hit by a car on the way down from Bar H. That was fun.
Okay, so this is our third GBM of the fall 2020 semester, and the topic that we will be talking about is mental health as a Black engineering student. But before we wanted to begin, I'm not sure if you guys know, but this week is Mental Health Awareness Week. You may have seen that other clubs and organizations are working with Active Minds to plan events regarding mental health and mindfulness. This is actually not NSBE's first workshop. We held a workshop with Shep, Sace, and Sui on mental health and mindfulness, and this is our own workshop that we're holding. So I wanted to tell you guys more about Mental Health Awareness Week and give you guys a bit of a background. So what exactly is Mental Health Awareness Week? It's observed from October 4th to the 10th. It was established in 1990 by the US Congress and is currently run by the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And taken from their website, they say, each year we educate the public, fight stigma, and provide support. And each year our movement grows stronger. NSBE RPI is very proud to have a GBM topic be centered around this. If I'm correct, I think this is the first year we were centering a topic in regards to Mental Health Awareness Week and a topic on mental health. So we're very proud to partner with Active Minds, and we're very thankful to give you the opportunity to learn more about this week and then this workshop that we will be presenting to you.
So the first topic we're going to be talking about is mental health in college. So we're all here at RPI, but why did we all decide to come here? We're all trying to we're studying very hard to get these degrees and hopefully get a job after we graduate, making that big money, making those 6-figure salaries, hopefully. But while we're here, it's not really an easy road all the time. You know, I'm sure you all can relate. RPI is a difficult school, coursework is difficult, and you know, that can add to the stress and how we feel while we're taking these classes. Next slide, Robert. So just to like quantify how hard is RPI, it's actually like number 4 school and hardest school to get an A in. I didn't know that before I came here, but I definitely can understand it while I'm here. And I'm sure you guys can relate that, you know, professors don't make it easy. They may really make you work for those grades. And in addition to that, some of you might feel that, you know, do you belong here? Is this the school for you? But you're here and you're here for a reason. So make sure that you graduate, and we're here to support you because this is a community, and we'll make sure we all get there together. So overall, the college experience is not exactly what I envisioned, especially like watching American TV. You know, you see like these fantasies of what college life is actually like. But I think that's a little different when you're an engineering student. You have definitely a lot more work than, especially at RPI, you have a lot more work than I guess other students might. So, you know, that will definitely add to your stress in addition to the other issues that college students face, which include high tuition, separation anxiety, family pressure, and the future of uncertainty. So to kind of like, you know, get into this, we're gonna have what we're gonna call NSBE Green Table Talks, and we're just gonna like have little breakout sessions where we're gonna talk about like how we feel as RPI students and what the things that we're facing and how have we handled it. So, you know, it's always helpful to hear that other people are going through the same things that you are. And it's definitely helpful to find how they have handled it because that could definitely help you. So I think Robert is gonna trigger these breakout rooms that we're both gonna lead. So Robert, let me know when you're ready to do that.
Okay, so I'm going to pause the recording right here. Oh, okay.
Right.
So let's move on to the next slide.
Right. So this is just gonna go over like what we were like some more tips and like things that we thought we want to share. Like, you know, if you're frustrated, just take a break. No need to continue to stress over things. Spend time, find time to spend with your friends. Obviously, you know, social distance and, you know, do what you need to stay safe, but do, if you can, I would say like it's nice to see other people. Um, and like if you did finish an exam, take a break. You know, you finish the exam, get it, you know, go to the next slide. And then just here's a bunch of resources that you can still use if you really need some professional help or extra help. um, RPI has a bunch of resources that you can take advantage of to get help. So, like Fiona and Lorene said, get help if you need help. So, and we can move to the next thing.
Before we continue, Dean Gunn, would you mind speaking? If that's okay.
Sure, what would you like me to say?
Just like give an overview
Is
of
Dean
student
Gunn still
success.
here?
I am
I don't
still
think so.
here.
Oh, she is. Maybe she's just AFK. But anyway, oh, I froze.
Well, for those of you who don't know me, I wish that I could show my face, but my power is still out. I live in Troy and I look a mess. So that's not happening tonight. But what I will say is that if you are like, if you do have any issues with really honestly anything, and you don't know where to go, I can be your first stop and then I can definitely point you in the right direction. If you need somebody to just talk through some things with, process things with, my WebEx room is always open. I would say my door is always open, but you know, I'm only on campus on Tuesdays. But yeah, if you do need anything from me, feel free to reach out. You can email the success office. I'll also put my email information in the chat box if you need anything from me.
Definitely take advantage of Dean Gunn. She's here to help us. All right, we can move on.
Okay, so the next topic that I wanted to talk about for this meeting is mental health and the Black community. Given it is NSBE, I feel like it's very important to touch on. So, like when people like say like how you doing and you say I'm good, like you may be good, but are you really good? So I'm gonna get real here. I'm gonna get real here with the facts. So the adult Black community is 20% more likely to experience serious mental health problems. Young Black adults between the ages of 18 to 25 are more likely to experience mental health issues and less likely to receive adequate services. Only 1 in 3 Black adults who need mental health care receive it. And this is probably the most obvious, but this is definitely the foundation of where it comes. That Black mental health is at the intersection of racism, classism, and healthcare inequities, which makes disparities worse. So, for example, like one thing that does contribute to this is like such as police brutality, like seeing the video of George Floyd getting his neck stomped on by the police officer can like mess you up. It can cause trauma. Or, for example, the verdict of Breonna Taylor's case, and where that the officer was charged with endangerment of the people around her, but not her actually herself. Like that stuff is traumatizing, and having to hear it over and over again, like seeing, for example, like seeing a cop and tensing up, like, am I going to be next? Is like messes with your mental health. And there's so much stuff I could go into, like dealing with racism on campus, like in the real world in general. But I'll touch on that later. But it's just like racism and other factors just makes it worse. So just want to make sure you guys are really good. So how do we create solutions for this? One solution that you can create is culturally responsive mental health treatment. So cultural sensitivity is crucial to success, and usually this is done through understanding. So an example, like if you're going to see a therapist, it would help, for example, if you are black, that you want your therapist to be black. Because, for example, if your therapist isn't black, they may not be able they may be able to give you good professional advice, but they may not have the deeper understanding of what it's like to be black in this country, and how to understand that further. And by doing so, but for example, having a therapist or a counselor who understands your experience, they'll be able to touch on issues you may have, for example, such as police brutality, or watching a video that could trigger you. So to understand where that's coming from someone who may be black, who can sympathize with you, but may not may not understand that from experience. But also one thing that's very important is and the stigma around mental health. It's not on here, but I was reading online that, like, for a statistic, that if I'm correct, 63% of Black people in this country believe that mental health is a stigma, and is seen as a stigma. So as our responsibility, we're fortunate enough to grow up in a society. We're fortunate enough to get information where we're able to access resources. No, that's not true. And one thing that I feel is a responsibility is that we can educate Black youth in order to break the cycle. Like if you have any like cousins, nieces, nephews, like anyone that you know, like tell them, like if you feel like anxious or depressed, like it's not like a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. If you tell someone, if you get help, it's a sign of strength. Talk with your family or friends. Like if you know something's wrong with a close friend or a family member you deeply care about, go and talk to them. Like empathy and comfort, I would say, is the best way to reach out to people in addition to cultural sensitivity. So if you look for resources, I stumbled on a page called blackmentalhealthmatters.carb.co. And what it is that it basically gives a resources for mental health tips and tricks, but specifically for Black people. And when I was going through it, I really thought it was very useful. So when you get the chance, please look through it. We'll see maybe I'll try to post it in the Discord after this meeting, but take advantage of it. Like if you need it, it's a great website and resource if you can't access or don't want to access a person just yet.
So now we're just gonna have another little discussion about, what it's like to be an engineer and what the issues we might face. Did I freeze?
No.
You're good, Iman.
You're good.
Am I back yet?
Yeah.
Okay, as I was saying, we're just gonna have a little talk about what it's like to be an engineer and like the issues we might face. So you can go to the next slide, Robert. So, what I want to hear from you guys. What issues do you think that Black engineers or Black professionals, face, in their professional lives? Maybe that you can extend that to Black engineering students or Black students in general, but just want to hear some of the ideas or things that that this group faces specifically.
I have
And why
one. Sorry. So I think this is one of the main reasons why I'm an engineer, and also just mentoring like all over the place is not having someone to look up to like in your field or wherever in higher up spaces. So having to be like the first one to pave the way for yourself and the ones that'll come after you is definitely a struggle, but it will be worth it for the future.
I would say personally for me is having to prove yourself. Like I've definitely found an RPI that although a lot of people have been accepting, I've run into like some instances like, oh, like you got in because you're black, you got in because you're an affirmative action kid, and it's bad enough when you're the only one or one of two in a classroom, in like a large classroom or a lecture hall, but it's even more insulting when people criticize. When I would say people criticize like you, who you are, and your capability just because of the color of your skin. And to me, it's sort of like almost like a damn if you do, but a damn if you don't situation. So that's probably like one of the biggest things. Like I'm sick and tired of like having to prove myself just because of how I look to other people.
Yeah, I can definitely relate. I mean, one time, when I was on my co-op, I had an instance where, I was with another intern who was, he was white passing Hispanic, so he basically was white. Um, and we were at an event sponsored by the company, and an employee, met her and was talking to her, and like she like assumed I was like a operator, which is one of the persons that like are out in the field turning the valves and stuff, and not an engineer. So definitely like those kinds of microaggressions or assumptions, um, engineers and professionals, engineers and professionals definitely have to face, in the workplace. Does anybody else have any other things they would like to share? If not, we can just go on to the next topic that we'll be talking about.
All right. Hey everyone, my name is Christopher Jean-Louis. If you forgot in the last 20 minutes, I'm one of your freshman representatives along with Garcelle, and we're going to be talking about mental health in the middle of the pandemic. Next slide, Robert. Naturally, as lethal pandemics tend to do, they upend everything. Life was turned upside down in an instant as soon as on-campus students were shunted off campus to scurry back on home. The job market had a stroke, and the class of 2020 essentially lost everything that made the year memorable. Now, as experts say, we almost have 2 years of this. We have to adapt to rubbing elbows instead of shaking hands, wearing filters over our faces, and screaming high from like 12 feet away because it's too awkward to get from 3 feet and endanger yourself. But while we're suffering through this weird process, it's important to realize that just like everything else, this is at most temporary. And even if you want to rip out the band-aid and get it over with, it's more like a broken bone and it'll heal in a longer process, but it'll still be much more worth it. Next slide, Robert. So it's really no secret that the demand for mental health services has skyrocketed. Every major news outlet has opened up about it, at least once at some point. The Washington Post publishes articles about it constantly. Some companies had even released statistics to embody this. A federal emergency hotline registered more than 1,000% increase this April compared to last year's metrics, and an online therapy company reported a 65% increase in clients since mid-February. And it's remarkable, really, but it's also incredibly disheartening. As our very quarantines stretch into their 8th month, we have to realize that this increase in demand can easily lead into an even greater domino effect where a lot of us feel we are disenfranchised or deeper into a hole that we dug ourselves than we really are. And as we move forward, really need to realize that one, we're not alone, and two, we could easily recover from this as compared to everything else. Next slide, Robert. Thank you. A couple slides before, when we were talking about mental health as a Black person in this community, Robert mentioned having or encouraging cultural sensitivity. In this case, with the pandemic, where it's not necessarily racially stratified, it's also important to remember that you should also practice and encourage emotional sensitivity or emotional intelligence. Realize that your friends are your biggest supporters, and no matter how it feels, you're never alone. And if you see a friend who's suffering, practice your own emotional intelligence, build your soft skills, reach out to them, and make sure that they feel heard, that they realize you're there, and vice versa. If you need to physically be with them, you can take them out to nature, which has been scientifically proven to improve your mood, alleviate depressive and anxious symptoms, or just talk to them with FaceTime sessions, watch YouTube videos together, or use Netflix or Netflix Party, which is an extension on Chrome that lets you watch shows and movies with them in real time. If you want to keep your friends updated, you have to realize that the media is a double-edged sword. Even if you were to use it to be informed, it could easily just as it could just as easily negatively impact your mental health. There's been a lot of media attention as the quarantine goes on about doomsday scrolling among teens and young adults, where they go on social media to look at the bad news and just get anxious and more depressed seeing all the bad news rather than the good news. If you get into that trend, it's important to remember that you can always just put your phone down or log out of the app and step away, one for your own mental health and another for your own worldview. Realize that the world may be going through something right now, but it's also still valuable and appreciated, just as you are. If you need to work on your own mental health, you can always try practices like your own relaxation methods or meditation. If I learned anything from the Tuesday GBM that we had with the other minority groups on campus, meditation, even with guided meditation on YouTube, can be very relaxing, can make you feel drowsy if you need to nap and get your feelings out, and is otherwise very helpful. Does anybody else have questions or any other mindfulness exercises that they want to share? Going once?
Yes.
All right.
This is Derasia. Um, one thing that I like to do, because sometimes, life gets hard. You might have like a panic attack coming on or something like that. And there's this thing called grounding that I learned from my therapist. Like, you don't gotta go to therapy, to use the skills. It's just like becoming aware of where you are, whether it be like, okay, name all the colors in the room that I see, or just like feeling the different textures on different surfaces and stuff like that to bring you back to the right now. And it really helps sometimes, um, just using all your different senses to make you think about the present instead of whatever was making you anxious.
Thanks, Erasure. Is there anyone else? If there isn't, we can move on to the next slide.
This is McKenna here. So I feel like I sort of just want to share like an app that I use. Technically, it still falls under the meditation spectrum, but it has it's very useful. So there's this app called Tide, which is as in TIDE. And one of the features that it has is like guided meditations and like sort of like a breathing exercise. And it has like a visual and sound, so you understand like you have to breathe in during this time and out during that time. And also there's this app called Insight Timer, so it's also like it has free meditations as well. So I just wanted to share that.
I also use Tide. It's also a sleep tracker, so you can see your quality of sleep, because sleep also really contributes to your mental health. And you could also use it to sort of lock your phone and help you focus if you ever need to study. It's very useful. Thank you, McKenna.
No problem.
I think we're going to move on, Robert.
All right, see then. So now we've reached towards the end of the GBM, and now we're gonna do some very, very important announcements. So make sure you stay for them. I think the first announcement is gonna be from Muhammad. I think if he's still here.
All right, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, all right. All right, if y'all want to get some prizes, go out and do some volunteering, just anything to help out your community. Come back, send us a pic. We got you. If you come out on top of everybody else, you get a custom NSBE prize. Even if you don't get first, come out second, you still get that prize. Just send us a pic and let us know. Next slide.
Definitely, I definitely encourage everybody to participate in this. You know, even though we're all inside, there's still a lots of ways you can contribute and give back to the community. So definitely make sure you take advantage of this and win some cool prizes. So, little reminder. So we are trying to do like coffee, like do some more stuff in the Discord, and this is going to be in the form of coffee chats. So every Tuesday and Thursday from 8 to 10, some eBoard members will be hanging out in the Discord and will be available if anybody just wants to come and talk. You know, ask us any questions or just hang out in general. If you just want to pull up, you can pull up and we can just talk about anything. So yeah, so Tuesday and Thursdays 8 to 10, look out for that. That's definitely going to be start happening more regularly now. All right, you can go to the next one, Robert. And just another reminder, if you're not already, which I know a lot of you are, make sure you're a paid NSBE RPI member. As I said, you get a lot of special benefits. So, you know, special privileges in the Discord. We are going to give everybody who's a paid member free swag. So you don't want to miss out on that. We did just send out the first resume book. So if you got in that, if you were a paid member and submitted your resume it will be shared with our companies that are partnering with us, and then there will be more special events coming up for paid members. It's $5. You can just Venmo Sydney and go ahead.
So this is a reminder again that we have our applications open for our upstate New York zone. The open positions are vice chairperson, secretary, fall zone conference planning chairperson, programs chairperson, and pre-college initiative chairperson. The application deadline is rolling. And please remember to contact Jalen Edmonds, Upstate Zone Chair, at the email given or in the Discord with any questions. Like so far, no one's like, if I'm correct, no one has applied. It's a great opportunity to really get involved. You can help plan the Fall Zone Conference that's coming up later this month. And it's a great way to transition if you're interested in pursuing a regional or national executive board position in your NSBE career. So apply, apply, apply. Take advantage of the opportunity. In addition, we have our Region 1 committee application links that are still up. So with this opportunity, you'll be able to work with the committee chair and members on NSBE initiatives and programs without the commitment of a regional position. I said this in the last GBM, and I'm going to say it again. A regional position is a lot of work. You're basically getting the work experience and the benefit with being on without the responsibilities of being on the regional executive board. So far, the committees that are open are the Fall Regional Conference Planning Committee and the Torch Committee. There should be more committees that are coming out, and you can find more on the Region 1 website. If you scan the QR code, it will take you to a document that has the links to these committees. So when you can, please apply when you can. It's a great opportunity, and it'll be great for your NSBE career.
So on behalf of our conference planning chair members who couldn't make it because him and Mood are currently taking an exam, good luck to them. Our conferences are coming up. So the first one is Zone Conference, which is going to be October 30th to the 31st, and then Fall Regional Conference, which is November 16th, 21st. So if you're on our emailing list, you should have received information on how you sign up to we call them letters of intent, which are basically you expressing interest on the reasons why you want to attend these conferences. So if you are a national paid member, NSBE RPI member, and you fill out your letter of intent, we as a chapter will cover your costs to go to these conferences. So make sure if you're interested, you fill that out, and we will be selecting people based on their involvement so far in the semester. So, you know, are you in a committee? Were you on career fair staff? Have you been coming to GBMs and study jams? Like the people, we'll pick those people first and give those people preference. But we are able to take a lot of people this year to conference, so definitely don't miss out on these opportunities because there will be career fairs, there will be good networking opportunities. People do get jobs and internship opportunities from conference. I got my first internship from FRC when I was a freshman. So Definitely don't think if you're a freshman you shouldn't go. Everybody should try and make it to these conferences because they're great opportunities. So yeah, so just go and check your emails. You should see the links to the letter of intent. I'm not exactly sure when they're due. Oh, they're due right there. So October 23rd and October 15th. So go ahead and fill those out as soon as you can. If I have any questions, you can email Maverick or message any e-board member in the Discord, and they should be able to point you in the right direction. And then again, national conference. That's going to be next March. No idea if that's going to be virtual or in person yet. As we get more information about that, we'll share. So look out in like December or January. You should be seeing more information about national conference. Definitely another opportunity you don't want to miss out on. Yeah, good point, Tahira. I didn't say this, but FRC and Zone Conference are both virtual, so very easy to attend. You just go on your laptop, sign up, and you're there. So
I sent this in Discord earlier, but we do have a Facebook group, NSBE RPI. I made this little thing earlier, but I'll put the link in here if you want to join the group. We'll be putting events in there as well. So if you're someone who's more on Facebook than Instagram, like feel free to share events when they get put in there so we can have the more the merrier, have a larger NSBE family. Next, thank you. Also join the Discord. I'm pretty sure all of you are in it already, but I don't know where the link is right now, but I'm pretty sure all of you are already in the Discord, so that is that. Great job. Next slide, and then stay in touch. We are at NSBE RPI on Instagram if you also want to follow at R1 NSBE, which is the Region 1 NSBE account, and also on LinkedIn for our group. Mahmoud, who is the professional development chair, is always sharing some good job opportunities in there, and it's a good way to network as well because we also have alumni in that group too. And then, as always, check your email every Sunday evening for updates on everything that's happening with NSBE for the week, maybe the upcoming month, and links to all the things you need.
Hi, everyone. So earlier, Emmanuel mentioned that to have an opportunity to go to conferences, having a good amount of points really helps you. So I'm going to run down through ways you can get it. So wearing NSBE gear to an event, attending an event as a paid member. So that's really incentive to become a paid member because you can get additional points for it. Also, you can get points for being a mentor through Strive, attending GBM, attending also non-GBM events. What else? Also, people who are in committees already get 5 points, and that's a lot in the long run. So please join a committee because you can get good points for that and get really good experience with NSBE, and also join us and do more things. What else? Attending conference is also another 5 points, so it's also a good way to gain even more points. And then I'm gonna have Brianna tell us who is in the lead with the most points right now. So you can go ahead, Brianna.
Can we get like a drum roll or something before?
Yeah, can we get a drum roll, please? Can people unmute and drum roll, please?
Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Big drum roll.
Great. So our top 5 NSBE point earners so far are Robert. Next slide. One more. All right. So Jolene is in first place. Fantastic, Jolene. We got Brittany in second place, Alice in third, Selena in fourth, and Omri in a close fifth. And our highest freshman point earner is McKenna. And so this is all, every meeting, we're gonna update you on who the top 5 point earners are. And just to say that it's really early in the semester, it's anybody's game right now. But please continue to go to events so you can earn points. They help you go to conference, and at the end of the semester, they'll help you
get things like scholarships and prizes in the year. So continue to come to events, and it's anybody's game, especially the freshmen. So congrats to everybody.
So great job, everyone, for points. I hear myself in someone's mic.
Well, it's probably mine. Sorry.
It's okay. So mark your calendars. There's a lot of cool events coming up. We have on October 14th, which is next Wednesday. Maybe I'm not good with the days. I feel like it's next Wednesday. We're gonna be having a workshop with Facebook, a Facebook software engineering session, an alumni panel, and also the Society of Women Engineers will be there too. On October 16th, there will be a NES bonding event with BSA, or Black Students Alliance, and we will be playing Among Us and also Scribble.io in the Discord, or Scribblio in the Discord. So definitely be there if you are craving some human interaction and just want to have fun. On October 20th, we're going to be having a leadership and impact with Naval Nuclear Laboratory. So if you're interested in working with them or just learning more about their company, definitely go. And then October 22nd will be an info session with Regeneron, which is a pharmaceutical company in very close to RPI. A lot of alums go to Regeneron to work. And then as a reminder, study dance will be every single Wednesday from 7 to whenever, or officially 11 o'clock in the Discord. So stop by if you want to just listen to music and study.
So for the quote of the day, I was searching and I found this quote, and the quote is, "Mental illness is nothing to be ashamed of, but stigma and bias shame us all." You can take this quote how you want, but when I found this quote, what I got from it is that it's not necessarily the illness that's the problem, but it's how people perceive it. I feel like definitely in my experience and probably in other people's experiences as well, that if they, for example, like if they in their case or they know someone with a mental illness, they may be afraid to share it out of like fear that they're going to be stigmatized or not seen as strong, and you have to uphold a strong image. But hopefully we can move towards a future where you're not seen as weak for sharing that you have mental illness, but you're seen as strong in the sense that by sharing that you're opening up a support system. So hopefully and surely we can we can move into a future world of society where it's not seen as a stigma, where you can get help, you can have a support system of friends, your a therapist, counselors, anything that you need. So hopefully we can reach that goal, and we hopefully wish for you that this general body meeting is one of the first steps that we take to reach that.
All right. Thank you for coming to the GBM. However, before we end, I just want to open the floor. If anybody has any shameless plugs or anything they just want to promote really quick or plug, go ahead and do that now. Keep it brief, but okay. So I'm assuming that means we don't have anybody who wants anything to promote. Then all right, so meeting's over. Thank you so much for coming. Look out for the events next week. So that's the Facebook workshop. We have another workshop with Naval Nuclear Laboratory, and then our next GBM is going to be an info session with Regeneron. Regeneron hires a lot of RPI students, and they're looking to hire NSBE members. So make sure you pull up. They do co-ops, they do internships, they're looking for full-time. They got everything there. So looking for a job, definitely pull up to the next GBM for a nice info session with the Regeneron. All right, thank you for coming. So I'll see you guys next week.